Match week 36 is in the books, which means we've got 2 games left for every team. Those are going to be played over the next 2 weeks. So we're going to finally find out where everyone finishes. We also had the FA Cup final. Some people are happy. Some people are sad. Let's get into it. This is Red Card Radio.
Or mad.
Mad? What do you mean mad?
I'm pretty happy. Good morning.
What are you mad about, Brad?
Good afternoon. Welcome to Red Card Radio. Red Card Radio is a weekly look at the Premier League and English football from 3 friends who support different clubs. My name is James. I support Arsenal. Right across from me, to my left, is Brad. He supports Chelsea. Down below us is Sean. He supports Tottenham Hotspurs. Gentlemen, how are we doing tonight? We're gonna talk about some things today. We're gonna talk about everyone's comments that we got from last week. We'll talk about that FA Cup final. We're gonna talk about the matches in the Premier League before we look forward to the final 2 match weeks, which are going to take place over the next 2 days. So we got match week 37 taken over Tuesday and Wednesday this week, and then Championship Sunday, as the Premier League has liked to dub it, next Sunday. But yeah, so gentlemen, how we doing?
Terrible.
Okay.
Terrible.
Yeah, Chelsea had
What do you mean? I stampeded the freaking intro for this. What do you mean you're upset?
How am I not upset? We can't score a goal. Ever.
I mean, and y'all got slapped by Barcelona in the
yeah, and then I couldn't even come on here. I couldn't even come on here and be like, "What are you guys talking about?" Of course, it was a great week. We were European champions. No, we got slapped in that too.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
It's okay. We're gonna come back stronger next year. They're gonna take that trophy next year from Barca. It's okay.
I would like to point out, Brad, you guys were going for the quadruple, right? Chelsea
Correct.
women, Chelsea women. You should look up. You should look up the last English team to.
The last time Emma Hayes was on the team.
Should look
and
up.
I know it was the Gunners.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
I know my history.
That's right. All right, boys. Let's quickly take a look at the table, as we are accustomed to doing here. So, of course, Manchester City, this is kind of humorous because last week we took about 15 or 20 minutes to talk about all the scenarios where Manchester City could potentially not win the title, or it could be a lot closer, and then United went literally the very next day after we recorded our podcast, like 12 hours later, lost to Leicester and crowned Manchester City champions. So that was a good 15-minute conversation we had. But okay, so Manchester City are going to be are the champions of the Premier League this season. They are on 83 points, I think is what that says. Manchester United's in second. They lost 2 in a row. So they can be caught, and they might be caught. Who knows? Leicester City is up back to third. Chelsea is slipped to fourth after their loss this week, or midweek. Liverpool is putting a lot of pressure on Chelsea. A lot of pressure. Tottenham's up to 6th. West Ham has slipped. They got a very, very bad result against Brighton. Everton is in 8th. Arsenal in 9th. Leeds in 10th. Basically, everything else below them is exactly the same, completely unchanged. And of course, those 3 teams who will be relegated to the League Championship next year: Sheffield United, West Bromwich Albion, and Fulham. But West Brom tried to make it interesting against Liverpool. Scored early, and I thought that Sam was going to do the double over Liverpool, excuse me. That would have been spicy. But as we're accustomed to doing now, it's kind of a newer feature that we're doing here on Red Card Radio. We are going to talk about the comments that we received from our last podcast, video, however you're listening to it. Same 2 respondents. So we're always looking for more interaction. Come holler at us. But Jimmy on YouTube wants Sean. He wants you to respond to this hat controversy you have, and constantly.
A hat's your bursary.
So 2 weeks ago you were wearing an Atlanta Braves hat, and then it looked like last week you were wearing a Milwaukee Brewers hat.
Yep.
He took issue to this.
Okay.
So what's going on? Why the divided hat loyalty?
So as you can see this week, I am wearing a Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp hat. Shout out to Be Early down in Jacksonville. Friend of the pod, as as the guys over at Men in Blazers would say. Um, no, I'm a Braves fan. I grew up with TBS, like most people did.
Yeah,
like they were always on TV,
especially in Virginia, which we're all from.
And I lived 15 minutes from the stadium where the Richmond Braves played. So, like, I know you guys didn't grow up around there. You guys are from different parts of Virginia. But I grew up 15 minutes from Richmond Braves. So I'm a Braves fan. And then the Milwaukee Brewers hat. I just like the hat. It's a good hat, man. It makes the mint, like the M and the B. It's good. Yeah. It's good. It's a good hat. And then the rest of the stuff is usually stuff that Mr. Early sends me.
So. I can echo that. Even in Northern Virginia, like, so you grew up in Richmond, I grew up in Northern Virginia. Yeah. We still got the Braves on TBS literally every night. And I was a big,
readily available.
I was a big Braves fan.
Very easy.
I was a big Braves fan until the Nats moved to DC, then I adopted the Nats because they moved to town, and I was like, it makes sense.
I understood a lot of people like switching allegiances once the Nats moved down,
and like I think the
Nats,
it
made sense.
What did the Nats move to DC in like 2005? 05?
No, I think it was a little earlier, maybe like 2003, 4.
Yeah, so like if I'm like 13 or 14 or something like that at that point, it makes sense.
You guys, then you guys like signed. We're going down a path. We'll talk. You guys signed Alfonso Soriano. Like we can do a baseball podcast somewhere else. But.
No, Brad. Jimmy wanted to let you know he did not need to look up the definition of portend.
All right, listen here, Hacksaw. I had to look it up. My wife had no idea what was happening. Sean, did you look it up? Don't lie.
Yes. I looked up the word. Yes, I looked up portend.
2/3 of the pod had to look up the word. So, I'm sorry we're not as smart as you.
Clearly, Jimmy is our smartest listener.
Right? You have that title now.
Okay, there we go. We'll send him a card. Will on YouTube as well. Let us know. He's a Juventus supporter, and I made a joke last week about Moise Kean when he signed for Juventus. Apparently, his father claims that Juventus agreed to give him 2 tractors as part of his signing bonus. And I made a joke last week about whether or not Moise Kean's father had received those tractors. Will lets us know that it's unclear whether or not he actually got those tractors. He also, on a more serious point, he brought up this. The fact about the UEFA Conference League. He thinks that it's kind of hilariously timed because the Conference League is going to allow some big name teams, potentially Arsenal this year, potentially Tottenham from England, especially from England. So potentially ESL quality European Super League teams to fall into this Conference League, and they're going to absolutely be just way overmatched for all of these, overqualified for these small teams that they're going to play against. Yeah. He also wants someone to debate him on the European Super League and why it's a bad thing, because he thinks it's a good thing.
Well,
so why does he think it's a good thing?
Okay, so forgive me, Will, if I misquote you, but my understanding of his argument is that that the teams who win the Champions League are always one of the Super League caliber teams or one of the Super League founding teams, and that the Champions League is a less competitive product because these teams are playing in it, that the Champions League will become more competitive if these teams are not playing in it, that these teams that the Super League will create bigger solidarity payments for the football pyramid, and that the Champions League will get back to what it was before, what it will become what it was before in like a previous iteration of what the Champions League was. Maybe we should have him maybe we should invite him on to the podcast in a couple weeks when we get to the summer to better allay his
Brad, do you want to go first?
No. No. Sean, I think you can encapsulate what I'm going to say.
So I made the point when we were talking about the ESL that in a way I kind of agree with him. That the point of the ESL was to cut out basically the group stage games because it's the same damn 16 teams every year. Roughly the same 16 teams every year. And you get to the final 4, it's the same teams every year. You get to the final 8, it's the same teams every year. Whatever it is, once you get down to it. So he's not wrong in that. But here's why he's wrong. What it would not make better is the product of what we get in Europe, because they're going to take away the competition. So those teams that were in that do not feel the need to make their team any better other than to compete with each other or to compete in whatever league they're in, because it doesn't matter. And the only reason for them to make themselves better, it's if there was a carrot incentive in the ESL to make themselves better. Other than that, they're getting free money no matter what, just by being in it.
Let me do a counterpoint for you here.
Okay.
Because if we look at the Champions League, both of the semifinals were Super League teams. I know PSG didn't technically sign up for the Super League, but
they were going to be in
all the reports indicated that they were one of the 3
teams. Same with
teams.
Bayern and same with Dortmund.
Yeah, so I'm going to treat them as if they were a Super League team. So that's not a good representation. The better representation is the Europa League. So we had 2 semifinals there. One that was highly competitive, one that was not competitive at all. If you look at Manchester United versus Roma, not a Super League team. United, Super League team. And it wasn't even close. It was not a competitive. They won 6-2 in one of the legs.
Mm-hmm.
They won 6-2.
But they lost the second leg, though.
Okay, that's fine. But when you win 6-2, when you win 6-2 in one of the legs, the second leg doesn't matter. And so I think that's what his argument is. Now the Arsenal Villarreal series was super competitive, and Villarreal not a Super League team, Arsenal a Super League team. And that was highly competitive.
Okay, but here's the thing, right? If every team is a Cinderella team, you don't get a Cinderella story. You don't get Ajax going to the finals. You don't get Tottenham going to the finals.
But the thing is, like, even if there aren't, so like there will still be bigger teams than other teams in the Champions League. So like you take out those. Okay. So you take out the 15 whatever European Super League teams, and then you have then promoted. Atalanta is a big team.
It's not Ajax. Isn't a big. They're playing well now, but are they historically a great team, or are they playing well now?
They're playing well now, but like
we're not putting them in there because they're in the Champions League.
I wanted to have this conversation a couple weeks ago. Who would be the teams you put in? Probably Porto, probably Leicester.
I don't know. This is probably a good thing that we could talk about in the summer or something. Like we could have that debate.
We can retable it.
But
like
I don't think I will disagree with him, and I hope he does come on. That was not a good thing for soccer as a whole. It was probably a good thing that it happened, so it woke everybody up. So, like, to remind everybody of what we're here for, which is competition, and fans woke up and they're like, all right, not all of this is about money. So it's probably a good thing that it happened, but it's a better thing that it didn't happen.
Okay. Well,
that's how I feel about it.
That's fair. We appreciate those comments. Please keep them in. As you can see, like we will talk about them. We really enjoy talking about them. But let's talk about some football. Let's start. First things first. We had a cup final this weekend. We had the playing of the FA Cup final at Wembley Stadium in front of fans. It was exciting to watch. There were people in the stadium. They were cheering. And Leicester took home their first FA Cup trophy, defeating Chelsea by a scoreline of 1-0. As you are our resident Chelsea supporter on the podcast, Brad, how are you doing? How do you feel? Tell me about the game. What are your thoughts?
So, nothing against Tielemans because that goal was gorgeous, and nothing against Kepa, but I think Mendy gets a hand to that ball because of size. I think because he's bigger, so I think that's a save there. But besides that, the shot should never happen because that's a handball. In English football, that's a handball. By the letter of the law, that should have never happened.
I disagree.
So I'm bitter Betty.
I disagree.
How do you disagree? What do you mean? In every single other game in English football this year, that call is a handball.
First of all, I was in the bathroom for our podcast listeners. I'm in the bathroom. He's talking about Mindy's bigger. Kepa is huge. What are you talking about? Size. Kepa's like 6'4".
Mendy is
6'6",
slightly taller.
with a longer reach.
Man,
Eduardo Mendy.
Kepa's enormous. If you can't get to that goal,
Kepa's 6'2".
no. Well, then he's got a really long arm. I can tell you that. That dude's big. There's no way it's not like
6'1". Kepa is 6'1".
We don't have
Mendy's 6'6".
We don't have like a Gianluigi Buffon situation where he's like 5'8" and it's an anomaly.
6'1" to 6'6". You're telling me there's not a difference there?
No, there's absolutely a difference.
There is. I'm not gonna.
I think
physically, I'm not saying Kepa's reaction was bad.
I'm not gonna press you on it.
It would have been there. I'm saying 5 more inches, that ball does not go in the net. But the bigger issue is that's not a handball. I mean, that is a handball in every game. In
that
English
one I'm
football.
not gonna.
Is it technically a handball? Probably not, because it's a deflection, right? Like, realistically speaking, it shouldn't be a handball. But in the English game, and the way the refs have been calling it, that's a handball.
Okay.
Shouldn't have been allowed.
So my thought process on that, the way I feel about this and what I told you, is that if the spirit of football would say that is not a handball, and 95% of world football would not call that a handball, just because you've been doing something wrong for an entire 2 years doesn't mean you should continue to do it wrong. At the end of the season, I think that English football should have cleared it up way sooner than this. But if they chose that was the day that they were going to clear it up, then fine, I'm cool with it. I wasn't wronged by it. So like I'm actively happy that Chelsea lost the FA Cup. Like don't get it twisted. Like I'm genuinely pleased that Chelsea lost the FA Cup. I'm sad for my friend who is suffering because Chelsea lost, but I'm personally happy that Chelsea lost. But
you didn't seem too sad when I lost the League Cup.
No, I was sad. No. I was happy that Tottenham lost, but I was sad for my friend. So there's a difference.
I was happy for both.
But that's because you're mean. But what I'm saying is that if in the spirit of football and what football is, that's not a handball. That's not a handball.
But this isn't the spirit of football. This is the FA Cup. This is FA. This is the Football Association saying this is a handball for the entire season, and then magically in the final, it's not a handball.
Okay, we don't actually. Hold on. Time out.
The season's not even over yet.
Time out.
So how can you change the rules in the middle of the season?
I'm pushing back on you because it's actually a different. So the Premier League is a different entity than the FA. They are not. It's not.
But it's been called in the FA.
Oh, has it? I don't.
Yes.
I can't speak.
Earlier on in the FA, it's been called.
I can't speak.
Handball's been called like that.
I cannot speak to how the FA is handling. I can't speak to how the FA Cup handled handballs in that situation. I can't speak to how they're dealing with it in League Championship or League One. I don't even know if they have VAR in League Championship and League One.
No.
So I can't specifically speak to those situations. We can specifically talk about what's happened in the Premier League, but I don't know in FA controlled, in Football Association controlled competitions how they're dealing with it. So
how is the Premier League not in FA control?
Okay, they work in conjunction.
Okay, so the FA has a say in it. So the FA then has the same rules.
Brad, that's not how it works. I'm telling you. I'm sorry. That's just not how it works. The Premier League is a distinct entity from the Football Association. They are different entities, and the Premier League runs the Premier League runs the Premier League, and the FA sanctions the Premier League to run the Premier League.
Is it the same refs?
That did not watch the game.
It doesn't matter if it's the same refs or not, Brad.
For people that did not watch the game, are we talking? And we're assuming that listeners would understand.
All right.
Okay.
Would understand soccer at some level. Please describe what happened.
So what happened? Oh, let me describe.
Or James, either one of you.
I only saw the highlights.
What happened.
So, Leicester City Chelsea has the ball. Chelsea passes the ball. A Leicester City player goes to intercept the ball. The ball hits his thigh and bounces up and hits part of his arm. His arm is in a very natural position to where his body is. Yeah, if you're looking at Brad right now, like hits his thigh.
If you're on the YouTube video, it really was they hit almost at the exact same time.
It's not that close, Brad. They don't.
It
hit
was.
No, you're wrong.
It was.
It's okay.
Anyway,
so the Leicester City player collects the ball, passes to Tielemans. Tielemans then holds onto the ball for a couple seconds, shoots, scores. They score. So the Chelsea players were instantly arguing that it should be a handball. That's where we're at. It was not called as a handball on the field. The VAR declined to have.
It wasn't even looked at.
I think they did look at it. They clearly looked at it because every goal scored is looked at. Yeah, that is true. But so it was looked at by VAR, and VAR did not decide that it was a clear and obvious error.
And I think that goes back to what Brad is arguing, that you can't, if he got in the way and was trying to deflect, his arms are what, as long as it wasn't like an obvious attempt to hit it with his arm.
Yeah, so the ball played his arm. His arm did not play the ball. And that's an important distinction, especially when adjudicating yellow versus red card for handballs and things like that.
I felt like that was just an important thing for people that listen to us on podcasts.
Agreed.
Like we should have described that.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's still a handball.
Okay.
You're not convinced me otherwise.
All right, that's fair.
All right. EPL, what do we got?
So Brad's sad about that. Understood. So I kind of talked about this in our opening. Manchester City are the champions. They became the champions when Manchester United lost to Leicester.
12 hours.
Yeah.
It sucked.
Yeah, it was funny. When I saw that, I texted you guys because it was just hilarious. But on top of that, United have lost 2 in a row. They lost. To be fair,
I got a little something for United.
Yeah.
We put a little hope into them last week.
We did.
Like we crap on United a lot.
We do.
Around here. Around the Red Card Radio community.
We do.
We do.
And we put some hope into United. And I'm not even a fan of them. This is the same crap I give James. Like the 2 times I have put hope into Arsenal. Not like I dislike Arsenal. I podcast friends of the pod, people that listen. I dislike Arsenal more than I dislike any other team in my life. More than I pick. Actually,
the Bears.
The baseball team I hate the most is actually the Cardinals. It's not actually anybody in my own division.
No one likes the Cardinals unless you're a Cardinals fan.
Flipping. I don't want to cuss, but I hate the Cardinals. I don't dislike the Bears the same amount. The Vikings.
He's a Packers
dislike
fan.
Any other team the way I dislike Arsenal.
Why is that?
I don't know.
So it's interesting. It's interesting you say this. So like clearly the North London rivalry, but neither one of us are from North London. So
no.
So when I think about when I think about who I dislike as an Arsenal fan, Tottenham is up there only because I know I'm supposed to dislike Tottenham. The team I dislike the most in English football, Chelsea. Followed by
Arsenal.
Followed by Manchester United. Followed by Manchester City, followed by Tottenham. That's my hierarchy of
I don't know
hate.
if it was Thierry Henry's face. Like I just something like maybe it was Arsene Wenger's face. I don't know. I just don't like anything about him. Stupid little cannon logo.
Yo, our cannon is dope.
No, it's not. No, it's ugly. I don't know what it is. I can't explain it. Like I grew up in America. I grew up with American football, baseball. I played baseball for 13 years. People probably couldn't tell that. Baseball probably should be the first one. I hate the Cardinals because the Braves got knocked out of the playoffs. Like I swear it had to be like 7 years in a row by the Cardinals, and it was brutal.
But it's Arsenal.
Arsenal is there, and I bet on them twice, and they let me down both flipping times. I'm like, I can't even count on you to not. God, when I want you to stink, you don't.
All right. So,
anyways,
we were talking about United before we went on that very fun tangent.
We counted on them.
Let me
make it good.
Let me defend Manchester United, if you will. They played both those games within 48 hours of each other. They played on Tuesday, and then they played on Thursday.
Man, we used to play pickup games like 5 days a week.
It's different, bro. It's different.
But how many changes?
Okay, it doesn't matter. Like, you don't get to train. You don't get to, like, so for the Liverpool game, they had to show up to the stadium like 8 hours before the game because of this unrest. So they had to show up to Old Trafford like 8 hours. It completely threw off. And I'm not saying that's why they lost to Liverpool. I'm giving context, and I'm trying to throw United a bone here.
Sorry, continue.
That they were very hard done by the schedule, but they shouldn't have even had to play the Liverpool game because they should have just been awarded a loss because they couldn't secure their home ground for the first time when the insurrection happened at Old Trafford.
Eric Bailey was the only player to play in both games.
That's fine, Brad, but it's you like.
Not even
this isn't
the goalies are the same.
So you're proving James' point. They had to play a B squad
in the first game. Sure, losing to Leicester.
Okay, so they played a B squad twice, or they played a B squad and then their better squad.
Then they played the A squad the second time.
They still had to play a B squad. You're proving James's point.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying the Leicester game. I'm saying they should when you had a
Leicester's a good flipping team. They're going to finish third.
Okay, but the Liverpool game means more to Manchester United, clearly.
Yes,
if we're realistically, they were playing the B team against Leicester no matter what.
That's clearly why they played the A squad.
But if you're switching 10 players,
Brad, I don't disagree with you. Like in a sense.
Not like we can.
But
not like we can say the players are tired because they played 48 hours later. They didn't.
Yes,
Eric Bailey.
Okay, yes, I agree with you that the players didn't play, but there was no training session. There was no all they did was probably talk about tactics. They didn't get to get on the field and practice the tactics before they implement them in the game. So like making the argument that it doesn't matter that there's two distinct teams, I think is not a good argument to make.
At this time in the season, though, what tactics you're redoing tactics. You're not coming up with anything new that's going to confuse the players. You're not playing a whole new system.
I was going to say,
I don't know jack about football tactics. I don't know how Ollie's setting up the team. He could be trying. He could try something entirely new. Who knows? But what I'm saying is that they don't have that luxury afforded them. Liverpool played one game in 15 days or something like that. So
they're very well rested.
So
I agree with that part.
They weren't playing in Europe, and it's just I don't know.
What I was going to say is that I wish Hamzy was on here for this, but I literally helped make a fairly complicated playbook in high school football. When it comes to baseball, like I said, I played 13 years of it, and soccer, European football, whatever you want to call it. Not a lot going on. It's nonverbal communication. You guys communicate with the way you pass and the way you move it around. Baseball, there's not a lot going on.
In baseball, there's nothing going on. Like
American football, it was complicated. In soccer, there's not. You can't convince me. This is why I was saying Sam Seed would be really good here. You cannot convince me that there is a lot going on other than the way you set up your formation and the way you want the people to play. So there's a couple of ways you can change that, but it's the same damn thing.
I think generally there are philosophical. It's more this is the philosophy we're playing with. This is the style that we're implementing in this game, and these are the manners in which we will achieve that philosophy throughout the game.
Yep.
So American football is weird because it's instanced. So every play is completely independent from every other play.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that's
why it's different.
Yeah. So you if you ran the same play 70 times in a football game, it wouldn't work. Like your team would, like if every offensive play you played was a halfback run up the center, you would not do anything.
No.
But that's just not the way. Like this sport, this soccer, football is a continuous, fluid match.
It's a lot like baseball in that.
I disagree.
It's a lot like baseball.
Baseball is instanced as well.
I don't think so.
Yes.
I think
It very much so is. You're lying.
Batter to batter is an entirely new instance.
Yes.
And yeah.
No, I think no, because you guys are discounting the next time the guy comes up to bat. Now we're talking about
no.
All right,
Dude,
last time you pitched me this way, and
yes,
then
yes.
it's just one game, and so he's took a pitch from this person 15 years ago, and all of that it's a chess match.
Yes,
and that's what soccer is.
No.
It's a chess match.
This is where I'm going to disagree with you in the instance aspect. Yes, on the one-on-one pitcher to batter duel. Like, yes, that's a chess match. But what I'm talking about if it's an instance type thing, like the shift is always the same. Albert Pujols is always shifted the same way, regardless of situation. Mike Trout is always shifted the same way, regardless of what he's done, because of the analytics. Because of the analytics of baseball.
It's all tendencies, which soccer does the same thing. They read tendencies of this team likes to play like this, so I will play them like this.
Yeah. Okay. But if after 15 minutes a team so have you ever I don't know if you've paid enough attention, like have you been watching Tottenham and been like, okay, like this is how we normally set up, and then you start watching a game and like it's completely different?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
That's what I'm talking about. It's entirely possible that Manchester United could have made the decision that we're going to play this way against Leicester, and we want to play an entirely different way against Liverpool today, and they didn't have that ability because they didn't have time to implement it. That's all I'm saying.
Then why would? All right, so my point would be, why would you do it then? Then that's a bad manager.
No, because the manager thought that gave them the best opportunity to win that specific game.
If you haven't had a chance to practice it, you shouldn't have done it.
Perhaps.
And
maybe they didn't.
Players. So
I don't know. I think that
I'm disagreeing.
Whatever.
As well.
All right.
I'm not letting United off the hook.
You guys win this fight. Let's move on. We've talked enough about it.
Okay, so let's move on to the top four, because the top four is now interesting, especially with Leicester. Yes, it's interesting from this perspective. When Leicester beat United, when Liverpool beat United, and then Chelsea lost to Arsenal. That's what made it really interesting, because everyone just assumed that Arsenal would lose to Chelsea, I think.
I did. I mean,
I think all three of us did. I think all three of us did.
When we talked about it, Brad, of course, Brad's like, Chelsea's going to win all our games. I'm like, no, there's no way you're winning all of them. But I think one of the wins was the Arsenal game.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, though, right? Every time a Chelsea team is in form and playing really well, we play Arsenal and shit the bed.
So, yeah, I mean, to be fair, if we want to talk specifically about that game, Chelsea slapped Arsenal. Like, Chelsea slapped Arsenal around for 90 minutes, with the exception of the essentially own goal that Jorginho scored on himself. So, like, Jorginho, I don't know why his head exploded. But, like, you would think, and especially from, like, such a senior player would know that you never pass the ball back to the goalie within the confines of the goal. So even if the goalie's standing there, you would pass it outside the frame of the goal. And so, like, you would much rather concede a corner because you pass the ball outside of the frame of the goal and your goalie's standing in the frame, and as the defensive midfielder, you look at your goalie and like, what the hell are you doing? I'm never passing to you there. I'm never passing back to you there. I might pass laterally to you there and be parallel to the goal. I might pass to you that way. But I'm never passing like perpendicular to the goal within the frame of the goal. So like when Kepa is clearly in the right position and Jorginho just passes it like basically into his own net, like you're kind of like, how does such a senior player make such a poor decision there?
And Kevin did a really good job
Oh yeah,
handling it. He did exactly what he was supposed to do.
I mean, yeah, Kepa did perfectly, but that's why we talk about it like it's an own goal. Like
Yes.
Emil Smith Rowe scored the goal, but it was essentially an own goal. But okay, let me
I think that up is Manuel Neuer, because Manuel Neuer for Bayern and Germany was like, pass it to me. I have good foot skills. It doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, but this is the trend that we've seen, and maybe Neuer is like the main reason why we've seen this trend.
I feel like he was the first one to be like, it doesn't matter.
Well, and this is why we
Pass it to me.
brought Kepa in originally, because it was Wisari playing from the back with the goalie with Kepa.
Yeah.
Kepa's supposed to be really good.
Kepa has
decent
good foot
at it.
skills. He has good foot skills. He
That's
does.
it.
I've seen him. I've seen him do it.
But I don't know.
Still a dumb pass.
So let me get back to why it's interesting now, because from Leicester's in third at 66 points, Chelsea's in fourth at 64 points, Liverpool's in fifth at 63 points. West Ham have kind of fallen off the map. They're at 59.
Spurs are right behind with 59.
But let's kind of
I don't think
treat
we're
them
gonna
cautiously. Let's treat Spurs.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to sneak in, but we're right there.
It's 5 points in 2 games.
Yeah, Spurs.
I don't know. I don't think we're getting a Champions. We might sneak into Europe.
I mean, you guys are
4 points.
you guys are in a Europa League spot already.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not.
Yeah.
All right. Look, listen. I don't count the
You just gotta-
CBL. For those American
No.
listeners, the CBL doesn't count.
No. You're in Europa League. 6th spot is Europa League. You're just in the play-in tournament. You got to play in
Yeah,
to get to the group stage.
like you guys did this year.
5th
Yeah.
is
No,
in
no,
the
no,
group
no.
stage.
Wait, no. Really?
Seventh is the Conference League.
7th is the Conference League.
Oh,
So-
well, I don't want that anyway, so it doesn't matter.
I'd take it.
We know you would.
Well,
I mean,
you're not far off either.
we've had
4 points.
we've had a terrible season, and I would absolutely take that for next year. Anyway, but okay, so we've got 3 teams within 3 points of each other, all trying to get to 2 spots. But if we look at their remaining schedule, Leicester play Chelsea and Tottenham, 2 very hard games. Chelsea play Liverpool. Chelsea play Leicester and Villa, 2 very hard games. Liverpool play Burnley and Palace.
So that's
So
whoever wins tomorrow is in.
Yeah,
If
Leicester.
you win, you're in.
Yeah, Leicester and Chelsea tomorrow is a win and in kind of situation. And then, unfortunately, whoever loses that game, probably out, because
It's out.
unless it's Leicester. So Leicester can
Correct.
sneak in. I don't know what their goal. Let me look at the goal difference. Chelsea's
21 to 21. We have
21
1 goal
to
difference
21.
right now.
okay. That's
Yeah, it is.
So,
As my grandpa would say, it's tighter than a camel's ass in a sandstorm.
okay, man. That's. I think the problem. That's another great one from your granddad, by the way. I think the problem for Leicester is that if they
Goat's
lose,
ass on the pepper patch. You like that one?
yeah, if they lose to Chelsea, even if they lose 1-0, they'll be at goal difference of plus 20.
At least -1, so it'd be 20.
So it'd be 20, and then Liverpool. Even if Liverpool beat Burnley by 1.
So it'd be 2
So
at minimum.
it's a 2-goal difference between the two.
Yeah.
Like Leicester would have to slap Tottenham by greater than 2 by what
Well,
Liverpool
I
beat
mean-
Palace by.
Tottenham have proved that shit can happen.
Yeah, they're
That
slappable.
Allison goal,
They're slappable. Yeah,
that Allison
They're
goal
slappable.
gets them into the Champions League. That
They're
is amazing.
slappable.
dude.
And I was so mad.
It's
Oh my
hilarious.
gosh. So in the group text, I clearly was working. I didn't see Allison's goal. I didn't know anything about Allison's goal. I'm texting the group like, yeah, we lost, but like at least Liverpool drew, so they dropped points, so we got a buffer.
Nope.
And then I saw the Allison goal and was like, oh,
Yeah.
this was a real bad week.
I was like, Brad, Liverpool won. And
Yeah.
yeah.
And I just like stopped texting.
That Allison
That
goal.
happened last week. That happened last week with me
Yeah.
and United, or no, City and Chelsea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where I texted the group chat thinking Chelsea lost, and both of you were like,
Nah.
no,
Yeah.
Chelsea
Yeah.
won.
So, that's why it's interesting. And
Very
I
interesting.
want to bring this up, guys, because both of you guys had Leicester dead last week. Both of you said that Leicester were not going to finish in the top 4, and that West Ham was your choice. You guys picked West Ham. So
before they plummeted, yes.
Drop dead.
I'm just saying that I was the only one here that said Leicester would finish in the top 4. I still think they will. But I want you guys to look at the table, and on our timeline sheet, you guys have 3rd through 9th on there and their remaining schedule. Who do you guys think is going to finish 3 through 7 in the Europa League spots, in the Champions League and Europa League and Conference League spots?
Chelsea, Liverpool, Leicester.
Okay.
Tottenham, West Ham.
Okay, that's fair.
Tottenham, West Ham.
I think I don't think Liverpool gets in there. I think it's Chelsea, Leicester, Liverpool, Tottenham.
So I hear you, but we're assuming there is a loser from the Chelsea Leicester game or a draw. Yeah. Either way,
a draw's not a bad
result.
There's a draw.
Leicester, Chelsea needs to win to keep our hopes alive.
A draw's terrible for Chelsea.
That's it. We need to win out these next 2 games to to be in it. That's why if Liverpool drew and we had that 2-point buffer, if we drew, we still had a shot.
Yeah, a draw is actually a terrible result for Chelsea. It's a great result. It's a great result for Leicester.
Correct. It makes Leicester safe. But let's assume Chelsea wins for this, and Liverpool wins against Burnley. Right? I think that's a safe-ish assumption. That's 67, 66, 66, with Leicester now in 5th due to goal differential.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I had Leicester 5th, because I'm still believing in my boys in blue, even though they're giving me absolutely no reason to right now. With 2 losses, we can't score a goal for anything.
Tuchel's not a goal scorer, man.
Yes, he is.
He can be.
No,
he can be. We just look. Our leading scorer is Tammy Abraham. He hasn't seen the field since January.
I mean,
I don't know.
Timo Werner is not a serious striker, and I've said this before, and I will say it again. He is
That's not his player, so I don't want to. I don't want to poo-poo on Tuchel.
He's not a serious striker.
Yeah, Werner. I don't want to poop on Tuchel for Werner. That's not his player. But he's not what you thought he was.
Well, Werner's not a center forward. Like, I think we've all decided.
I think you guys, honestly, and like I said this last week.
You know what's going to happen?
I want this to be like an American bias, but every time you have Pulisic on the field, your team is more electric.
I agree. Pulisic needs to start tomorrow. I agree.
He needs to play.
I mean, he's going to.
But you know who's? Hey, Harry Kane in London.
It's Ziyech and Pulisic, man.
No, not Ziyech. I don't think Ziyech starts tomorrow.
Are you kidding?
I think it's Pulisic, Havertz, and
Havertz. I'm sorry.
Pulisic and Havertz.
I picked the wrong one.
You guys
Havertz and Pulisic.
Giroud.
Well, you know what? If you put those 3 up top, you gotta.
Brad nailed it.
Havertz can play on the right wing, but I think I'd rather have if Giroud is at the center.
Yeah.
I'd rather have Pulisic on the left and Adoy on the right, with Reece James as right wing back. The crosses coming in from that right side would be gorgeous.
That's the ticket.
Havertz has to be on the field.
I don't know how much you guys watch Chelsea.
I try not to, whenever I can.
But Reece James's crosses are as beautiful as Trent's, as Alexander Arnold's. They are.
I don't think they're. All right, that's a little much.
Where were they in the FA Cup final?
Watch.
Well, that's a low blow, James. Even I want to crap on Chelsea as much as you do, but that's a low blow.
It wasn't. Right, no, because we haven't been able to score.
I was at a low blow,
bro. Havertz.
Now it's recent, man. It's a fresh wound.
I agree with you, but it's a legitimate point to bring up.
Didn't I text the group as soon as Havertz skied it? I said, "This isn't our day." I said, I said Havertz. Yeah, I said.
I think that was during the Arsenal game.
Havertz said, "Hey, Timo, hold my beer. Watch me go mess this up more."
I think that was the Arsenal game.
It was. It was, and then the Leicester game. And then the Leicester game, like again, from bits and pieces I've seen, we were in control. We just
Didn't
in
score.
every category but the one that matters.
I'm also surprised you never brought up the Chilwell offside call.
Yeah, the elbow that wasn't really offsides.
It's not his elbow; it's his shoulder. It's just like
not offsides.
it's his chest.
It's not offsides.
Bro, I looked at it when they froze it without the lines on it. And I was like, okay, that's offside. It's coming back. I didn't even have to look at it a second
Offsides
time.
annoys me, man.
It's not, but it's okay.
We don't got to go down this road, but
We weren't
like
going down it because I wanted to go with the handball.
leaning offsides shouldn't be an offsides.
I still like
Correct.
the.
It's where your feet are for a 3-point shot. Why is it not where your feet are for the
Feet. It's
bro,
feet. Like,
Brad,
where are
yeah.
you?
Brad,
Right,
Where
that's what
are
I'm
you?
saying.
Brad, you ever shoot a 3-pointer with your head?
I'm just saying.
They're
I shoot with my arms, and my arms are in the 3.
They're
We can
entirely.
argue about this.
They're different sports. That's
Bro,
that's a smooth
Do you
brain
ever
take.
run? Do you ever run leaning backwards, James?
No, but they're different sports.
Like,
You can't.
But your feet, but what he's saying is, if by leaning backwards, you're no longer offsides. How am I supposed to be running forward? You're
If
leaning
that's-
forward running. That's a natural position. If that's what we're using,
natural
for hand,
position.
It's a natural
and
position.
I'm not saying it should be like your entire torso, but like if it's a damn shoulder or arm,
Your arm
Like,
can't,
come on,
Your
man.
arm can't be offside. It has to be a part of the body that can legally play the ball. So from here down, you could run out like this, and if your arms are flinging over here
silly.
and they're offside, you're not offside. Guys,
you're never going to convince me that that's a good rule.
I disagree. Anyways, look at this. There we go. Tottenham and
So me
Chelsea
and
fans
Brad
disagree
agree on
against Arsenal.
for
you guys are so absolutely catastrophically wrong on that point.
no, we're
Disagree.
not.
But anyways,
I brought this up last week. I brought this up
I'm
2 weeks
sorry,
ago.
my shoulder is the same parallel as your foot. And then that because you're facing the
it's-
wrong way and
it's
you're
the-
stupid,
it's
and you're
the-
not good at defense, you can't catch me.
Bro, it's the same. It's adjudicated the same way for defenders and offensive players. So it's whatever is the furthest back legally playable point on a defender. So if the defender is sitting on the floor
so if
and
the defender leans forward,
yes,
If I ran
disagree.
with my shoulders backwards, I'd be more likely to score goals.
Yes.
Is what you're telling me.
yes.
you
If I
guys
just ran at an angle,
you guys just have a
backwards.
you guys just have a fundamental issue with the offside rule. Apparently, you guys
Yes,
just
I
don't
do.
you just don't like
Yes.
offside as a rule.
it's not the rule.
No.
It's clearly
It's
the rule.
It's the way it's the way it's executed.
Yeah.
It's not an
It's determined by
execute.
feet. Anyways, this is this.
Are you
we're way off in the
serious?
weeds.
Are you seriously arguing that it should only be judged by where a person's foot is?
Yes.
I think it should
That's
be
the dumbest thing
spirit.
I've-
It should be the spirit of the rule, not like I need to measure minute, like how
okay.
much person of this,
Sean,
how much of this person's toe
Hold
is
on,
Brad
wait,
another
Brad, wait,
person's
Brad.
toe.
Sean, I agree with you that the millimeter thing, like the millimeter
That's
judgment,
stupid.
is annoying, but it's objectively correct. What I like, and I brought this up a couple weeks ago, is the Norwegian way, the way they do it in the Norway league, where you get if it's within 10 millimeters plus or minus 10 millimeters, the VAR goes with whatever the linesman's judgment was. I like that. But saying
That's
that.
close enough.
But saying that
Okay,
we
but-
should, but saying that we should allow objectively offside positions to not be offside because their foot is back here is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in reference
So you can't get
specifically
ready
to
for a
football.
run?
So my point is, and we'll get off this because I know we've been on it for way
Too long.
My point is if I'm running past you and my body is on an onside position, but my shoulder happens to be leaning forward because I'm running, because you're turned backwards and you're not prepared to defend me.
No, that's how.
That is dumb.
That's how offside traps work. Defenders will intentionally run forward in order to put a
Well,
offensive
sounds
player.
like they're dumb.
That's an
Okay.
offside trap.
That's-
What? That's how football is. That's a legitimate way to play defense in football.
Let's put
Well,
this back.
sounds like
The
they're
last thing-
intentionally not defending the
The
attack.
last thing on the Chelsea Arsenal game, James. When was the last time you guys beat us at home?
It's like I don't know, it was like 2015. It was a while ago.
No.
It was.
Where was it?
What's
Arteta
home?
was
At
playing
your
or
house
Lampard
or
was playing?
Stamford Bridge? Because you guys don't
At
have much of
Stamford
home.
Bridge.
Van Persie had a hat trick. It was years ago.
What year was it?
I don't remember, Brad.
It sounds like 2011.
2011, 2012.
Okay.
What else happened in 2011, 2012?
Oh, get out of here. All
Jesus.
right, move on.
It's coming.
Where are we at?
It's coming.
Where are we at on the itinerary?
It's coming.
Jesus.
The thing is, our itinerary. I intentionally did not put all 20 matches that would be played over the course of the next 5-ish days, because, to be completely honest with you, very few of them matter. So the only ones that really honestly matter are the ones that we've been talking about for European positions. So Leicester over the next 2 match days have Chelsea and Tottenham. Chelsea over the next 2 match days have Leicester and Villa. Liverpool have Burnley and Palace. Tottenham have Villa and Leicester. West Ham have West Brom and Southampton. Everton have Wolves and City, and Arsenal have Palace and Brighton. So if you just kind of objectively look at that, the teams that are vying for certain positions, West Ham and Arsenal and Liverpool have the easiest run-in, where Leicester, Chelsea, Tottenham, and Everton have significantly harder run-ins. So if you kind of break this down into like your Champions League and Europa League, I think in all honesty, and we've kind of talked about this, whoever wins the Leicester-Chelsea match tomorrow will probably finish in the Champions League position, and the other one will probably be eclipsed by Liverpool, thus putting them in the Europa League position. So I didn't tell you guys who I thought was going to finish where, but I think Leicester's going to finish 3rd, Liverpool's going to finish 4th, Chelsea's going to finish 5th. I hope and pray Arsenal will finish 6th, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think West Ham's going to finish 6th. I think Tottenham's going to finish 7th. I think Arsenal's going to finish 8th. That's
Tottenham look burnt out, man.
Yeah, of course they do. But I think that's my rundown of
they
3
look
through 7.
uninspired. They don't care. They're just like, let's play this last flipping 2 games and go to freaking Greece for 2 weeks.
Well, but also, like, this would be what Tammy was saying. These guys have been playing for 2 years straight.
Oh, pretty much, yeah.
And we got the Olympics coming up in like a month and a half. That some of these kids are going to be
Tottenham
playing in.
Done. Tottenham are like,
95,
right, get out of here.
95% of these people are not going to be involved in the Olympics.
Depends on the ages.
Whoa. Speaking for yourself, boy.
They're going to be involved in the Euros.
And you have the Euros.
So,
yes.
Oh, you're talking about
there's 2 tournaments this summer. Is the Olympics and the Euros.
The Euros will impact these teams much more than the Olympics will.
I agree.
Okay, then why you brought up the Olympics?
The Olympics, the Olympics are like U22s or something like that.
U23, and they're allowed 3 senior players. So it's U23 plus 3 senior players, but the 3 senior players have to be allowed to leave by the club. They're not, so like on the FIFA calendar, the Olympics is not on the FIFA calendars for senior players.
Harry Kane's not playing for the English Olympic team.
Yeah.
Because Tottenham would be like, no, thank you.
Exactly. So the Olympics are going to hurt Arsenal because both the Gabriels look like they're going to be called up for Brazil. And that's going to hurt Arsenal. But it's like, name a single one of your players that's going to get called up for the Olympics.
Adoy is English, right?
Mason, Adoy. All good.
Adoy is English, right?
Kai Havertz is...
Mason Mount's going to play in the Euros.
Havertz is German, right?
They're not going to call...
Havertz is 21.
They're not going
Mason Mount's 22.
But they're not going to call Mason Mount for the Olympics.
No, they're not. No, they're not.
Hudson Adoy will go...
Have you ever watched an Olympics before? No, they do not call high-level players like that.
Caleb Hudson-Odoi is not going to be for England?
What Brad is saying is that these players aren't protected. So because they're under 21. What I'm saying is that they're not going to get called up because they're going to get called up for their national team to play in the Euros.
play in the Euros. Odoi is making the English national team. Absolutely.
I could see Hudson-Odoi not making the Euro team. I could see
Kyle Hudson-Odoi is, and he hasn't been playing with the senior team.
Kai Havertz is making the German team.
Absolutely.
Probably. You're correct. You're correct there. And Mount, but I'm saying these guys aren't protected with the
Mason Mount is making the English national team.
You're correct, and he's playing and he's starting.
I mean, that's debatable.
I don't think you have anything to worry about. Reece James is he's probably like, 22, 23? He is making the English national team.
I think so. He's 21, but I think
nothing you need to worry about with your team.
Yeah.
There's one we found.
Maybe.
Odoi. I still think if they don't pick him for like a...
And Billy Gilmore.
I like to crap on Chelsea just as much as James likes to do. Adoy's good enough to be on the flipping English national team.
Not as good as Saka.
He's not English, first of all. So
yes, he is.
Wait, he's
Saka?
He's English?
Are you talking about?
Then if it was between the two of them, it would be Saka.
Saka is English.
Yeah.
But you're wrong, but...
Okay, well then it's definitely Saka. Never mind. Odoi can play in the Olympics.
I don't even think Saka's been called up for practice or for games or for friendlies, has he? For the men's league, for the big club?
Yeah, for the national team, for the senior national team. He was called up in the last international break, but he was injured, so he didn't.
Okay.
He didn't go.
I told my buddy,
hey, here's a call up, but you're hurt.
No, he's played for England. He's had senior caps, bro. Look it up.
I told my buddy about our argument about Pepe and Eric Lamela,
and he agreed with me clearly.
No, he did not. It was Tottenham.
He's wrong.
But I was like, if you want to have an argument, I'll lose. It was over Saka, and he said he had the same sentiment of like, oh, Saka's so good, I would take him in a minute over at Tottenham. Saka is amazing.
Yeah,
like you guys got a hidden gem over there.
It's Haaland, man. We have got a really good academy. Emil Smith Rowe also. You guys would take Emil Smith Rowe.
Here's what happens, Brad. I try to lend an olive branch, and he wants to throw the academy at me like they've just been pumping out prospects.
I mean, I did the same thing. I mean, so he's like we both do that.
We don't have the Barcelona academy. We don't have the Ajax academy, but the Arsenal academy is really good.
I would love to know all of the great players that have come out of there. Like, what do you, besides those two, recently, and I'm talking recently, in the past 15 years, what do you got?
The greatest defender of all time at Chelsea? Greatest defender in the Premier League?
I'm still waiting, Brad.
John Terry. Everybody knows that.
Oh, Brad's saying out of the Chelsea. The Chelsea.
For Arsenal, I have no idea.
I'm talking to James.
I know, but I couldn't pass that up.
Give me a week. I'll have a list for you next week.
All right, I would love to hear.
I don't have
all the great academy players in the last 15 years.
I don't have a specific list for you right now, but I'll tell it to you like this. Right now, and I'll tell you contemporary players right now that are playing in the Premier League that are affecting the Premier League. Joe Willock, Bukayo Saka, Emil Smith Rowe. I would say Harry Kane, but we cut Harry Kane from our academy, so because he wasn't good enough at 13.
A couple of gold.
And we cut Emil Smith Rowe.
Yeah, you guys did, and we picked him up.
Yeah.
So I can't give you an inclusive list at the moment, but I will give me a week, and I will have a list of graduates from the Arsenal Academy and explain to you, and I'll show you why it's a Hector Bellerin is an Arsenal Academy.
The only reason I say it that way is I don't think Brad can brag all he wants about John Terry. There's one legendary player that came out there in my memory.
But my argument wasn't legendary players. I was arguing that we have a good academy.
No, and I was just giving him that. John he's one of the best defenders to ever play in the Premier League.
Yeah, agreed.
I'll grant him that.
Yeah, agreed.
But I'm not talking about legendary players. I'm just talking about good ones. And my point was that teams of our level don't normally just bring them up like from the academy. We normally buy them when they're like 15, 16, 17. We see Ajax is bringing them along right. And we're like, oh, they're going to be good one day.
That's fair.
Yeah,
That's good scouting.
This is going to be weird now, though, going forward with Brexit. Because Chelsea's infamous for buying youngsters and keeping them like that, doing that exact same thing that you're talking about. Like, I think like all of the English clubs.
Chelsea's fumbled the bag a bunch of times. Kevin De Bruyne, Andre Schürrle.
No, we're talking right. But we're talking,
yes,
okay, right. But we're talking buying young
the bag talents. A bunch of times. Like, could you imagine right now if you had Mohamed Salah, Andre Schürrle, and Kevin De Bruyne,
and don't forget Lukaku,
and you had that dude in the middle.
Yeah.
You fumbled it. You're like, oh, this guy's not good.
Well, it's because,
he is.
And it goes back to like we can't keep a manager for more than 2 years.
You choose not to keep a manager.
You choose not to.
Right. Right. The club does not keep managers more than 2 years. So
you choose not to. You fire them.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's
anyway. We're
back to my original point about the fixtures coming up. There's a lot of games that don't matter anymore, and we kind of talked about already in the course of this conversation the games that will matter coming up. That's all I got.
Yeah, that's all I got.
I do have Brad's infamous for trivia.
Yeah, I would love to hear this trivia joke.
You want to hear? It's not a joke. It's not really like a joke specifically.
It's always making fun of one of us.
No. It's
no. This is James's trivia. What?
Oh, okay.
James's trivia.
All right. So it's not poking fun at Tottenham for a change.
Well, I got one too, but we'll get to it. It's not necessarily poking fun at Tottenham this time. Mine is not poking necessarily.
Mine's an on this day in history kind of thing.
Ooh, okay.
And on this day, which is May 17th, but not in 2021, in 2014. Do you guys know what was happening on May 17th of 2014?
Arsenal won the FA Cup?
Yeah, so exactly. Arsenal won the FA Cup. And in the spirit, Hull City. This was the FA Cup that ended Arsenal's trophy drought.
Arsenal lost to Swansea. I think that is what I'm placing.
Okay, I've got to hear.
I think 1-1.
Oh no!
But it was around that time, like 11.
Here's another trivia for you. Arsenal have, I think. Well, I saw this on Twitter. This one is a dig at Tottenham. It's something along the lines of like over the last 20 years, Arsenal have made it to the FA Cup and won it. Made it to the FA Cup final and won it more times than Tottenham have ever won it in the history of their club.
Fair enough.
But yeah, no, that was my only point, that today, 7 years ago, Arsenal was winning the FA Cup.
Brad, what do you got? You had something earlier.
I got one. All right, so I was looking for Tottenham-esque teams. In that. Wait, let me get to this. No, because I don't know if you know this, Sean, but Tottenham has is actually tied with City for the 5th most trophies in English football. So, like, historically, if we go way back, they did win some things. Yeah. So, I have a question for you guys. Are you ready?
Are you going to ask us to name the other 4 ahead of them?
No. Which club in La Liga has the 3rd most trophies?
In La Liga?
I would imagine it's...
So we know number 1 and number 2 is Barca and Real.
Oh, I think I know what it is.
Try to play the Jeopardy music.
No, I think I got it. I just don't want to say it in front of James. Like, I want him to think about it.
I have a guess.
Okay. Who wants to go first?
I think it's Villarreal.
I think it's Valencia.
I think you're both wrong. It's Athletic Bilbao.
Okay.
Bilbao?
Yeah. Really? They haven't won. So, but here's the thing, right? We know I did. Yeah. here's where they are Tottenham-esque in that they've only won 2 trophies in the past 30 years.
Yeah.
So very Tottenham-esque in that. Historically, they're very good.
Have they won the?
They're about 60-ish trophies behind Barca and Real, but you know.
Have they won the Audi Cup? anytime?
No, so
Well,
they're
that's
better.
a
No, so
really
Tottenham is
prestigious
better.
I think
It's a really prestigious trophy.
when
Not a lot of people win that.
I think that this is a funny anecdote that I've thought about in the past, that I heard. So if you look at the entities, and I say this specifically, the entities that have won top division, top flight titles in English football, it goes Liverpool, Manchester United, Ryan Giggs, Arsenal. Ryan Giggs has won more league titles than everyone except for Liverpool and the team he won those titles with, Manchester United. I think that's a hilarious statistic.
Amazing.
All right.
Also, United.
Good trivia.
Yeah.
Good trivia.
United graduate, by the way, went to their academy.
Yeah. Cool.
It's homegrown.
Homegrown. All right, boys. Well, that's all. That's all we got. So that was our look at Matchday 36 and a bunch of other random things. Man to my left, that's at KS Brad G. Right below me at Whiteheart_Sean. I'm at James Tiffany. We are collectively at Redcard_Radio on Twitter. We really mean it. Interact with us. Tell us what you think we are really bad at. Tell us what you hate about us. I would love to hear what you hate about us. And tell your friend who you really value their opinion and have them tell you what they hate about us too.
And argue about the offsides rule, because I will really want to get into that.
But yeah. Oh, and we made it easier for you guys to subscribe. There's a watermark down below in the video for YouTube.
So like, comment, subscribe, share it with a friend, all the good stuff.
Reviews. We need some more 5-star reviews with Apple. Y'all want to hook us up?
But that's all we got. We'll be back next week and we'll wrap up the Premier League before we look to the Champions League. But y'all have a good evening and we will see you next time.